You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment. Make sure you subscribe and check out the playlist.
I grew up hearing gunshots in the late night. Ghetto bird, police sirens as a mother cries. Just another victim of the Soundbrown genocide. Locals posted, locked and loaded, ready to take lives. And when they heard the chieflet, they would duck up out of sight. Like your car when the sun down, it was mission time. You had to stay alert, cause bullets always travel blind. We stayed posted, we stayed drinking, and we getting high. Marchando down the enemy's neighborhood as we ride. Put the hood, put the glica sample, fuck their side. No regrets, but the truth is no peace of mind.
G-File.
Alright, now right here, starting off in the Four Corners. That's what this area is known for. It's known for the Four Corners, being the four barrios that are the oldest and dominate around this area, which will be Sotel, Venice, Culver, and Santa Monica. Right here, of course, we gotta hook up my homeboy right here, the homie Pelon. Gotta hook him up with his barrio right there, you know, and the homie Big also. We got Barrio Sutel. Now, Barrio Sutel is the oldest neighborhood out of this area. Out of the Four Corners, probably the oldest barrio. You feel me? It is the oldest, but it's not the deepest. You know, it's roughly one of the more smaller of the neighborhoods. Obviously, because the area is not that large itself. You get what I mean? And plus, they don't just let anybody in. You know what I mean? Sotel is a very well structured neighborhood, and you know, they only get them riders in. Now, Barrio Sotel started back in the 1930s is when this neighborhood was established. And when this neighborhood first started, this neighborhood was known as the Falcons. They were like a small club, kind of like you would say like a small club that would keep the kids out of the streets. You feel me? And then it transitioned into a lowrider club, like a lowrider car club. And then it manifested into the gang that we know today. Around the 40s is when they got their name, Sutel. Like 40s or 50s, around this when they changed the name from the Falcons to Sutel, and it became the neighborhood that we know, of it today. You feel me? And like I said, this neighborhood is, is with the business, homie. This neighborhood does not play, homie. They have their riders. They put it down, going at it with the surrounding neighborhoods right there. It's a neighborhood that is well known. A lot of people do know about this barrio. Of course, also being old school as it is, and they're located where the Stoners Park is at. And yes, that is the name of the park. Is not the name that they gave it. That's the actual name of the park, Stoners Park. Hence why they have like clicas like Stoners Park, because they have several cliques. From that to Malditos, Night Owls, Diablos, Peewees, Dukes, Chico Locos, Pachucos. Oh, all of that. They got a gang of cliques. So it's obviously. Like I said, when it's more of a smaller neighborhood around this area, it's still large, but it's the smallest out of the neighborhoods over here. But still a large neighborhood in itself. You feel me? So don't think that it's like a small neighborhood. It's just smaller compared to the ones over here, but it's a large neighborhood as a whole. And this barrio right here is, apart from it being like heavily rooted in the community and everything like that, because obviously how far back they go. One of the trademarks is one of the colors that they use is the color brown. So you'll see them with the brown bandana. That tends to be their color. The color that they rock is the color that they wear. You feel me? Well, they're sureños. They also wear blue, but I'm saying that brown is their bandana of choice. You feel me? And like I said, homie, this barrio is definitely with the business, homie. It's a barrio that you definitely hear about, and it's still active. Still has its member, and they still be putting in work right there. Now here we have the ghetto by the seaside. We got the Venice neighborhood. Also you could refer to Venice boys. They hardly use that term nowadays. But yes, they were using that term before, Venice boys. Or you just see it now, Venice 13. You feel me? Now, Barrio Venice is a neighborhood that's located right here, also by the Four Corners, located by the 405 on Oakwood, the ghost town. You feel me? Oakwood is definitely home base for them. Is their dojo. It's, is where it be cracking, you know what I mean? That's the danger zone. And now, Barrio Venice, man, that area back in the days, homie, when it first started, because this neighborhood was established in the 40s, 50s, 50s. It was the 50s, like homie said. It was a ugly ass area right there, homie. Like that shit was the ghetto of the ghetto. As a matter of fact, that is the area, the only area where immigrants were allowed to live. African Americans and immigrants were allowed to live, because racist times back then, the laws were stupid as hell. That was the only area that they could live in, away from all the you know what I mean? So they were just they were forced to be stuck in that area, homie. So this area was like ghetto, homie. They would never hook it up, it was pure desmadre right there, full of prostitution, drugs, all kinds of shit, because people were trying to make ends meet, because they wouldn't hire these people for work, and they would get mistreated and discriminated against. You feel me? So this neighborhood had to band together, to defend themselves and do their thing, for survival. And then, it manifested into the gang that we know of it today. This is one of the most notorious neighborhoods on this side. Its rap sheet, precedes it. This neighborhood is not to be played with. These vatos put it down, homie. They're heavily rooted. They got their soldados, homie. They got big camaradas. You know what I mean? This barrio definitely is known to put in work. As a matter of fact, Venice also, when they first started, they were using the color red as well. Based off the fact, remember, people have to understand that this is before La M started the whole color thing and all of that. And Venice goes at it machine with Venice Shoreline Cribs. That's like one of their mortal enemies, apart from Culver City as well. But Venice Shoreline Cribs is probably, like, I would say it's probably like their main targets. You know what I mean? There was massive beef between both neighborhoods. Both coming out of poverty, both being mistreated. Tempers were flaring. You know what I mean? A lot of mistreatment going on right there. So you had a lot of youths that grew up with a lot of anger. You know what I mean? So anger is gonna clash with each other. So they were going at it. Definitely, don't like the Cribs. The Cribs in these neighborhoods tend to have massive beef. Hence why a lot of the neighborhoods do use the color red. To aggravate them. But yeah, you have the Venice boys right here. Definitely with the business, homie. Be holding it down right there, representing for their barrio right there. Another neighborhood that you have right here in the Four Corners, one of the largest, and what's a trip is that it's roughly the newest gang out of the Four Corners. I would say Sotel is probably the oldest, then it's followed by maybe Santa Monica, then it's Venice, then it's Culver City. So they're the newest one out of the Four Corners, yet I would say they're probably deeper than Venice and deeper than Sotel. This neighborhood gained its numbers really, really quick, fast. You know what I mean? Not only about that, but they rose up the ranks pretty quickly. You feel me? Because this neighborhood is notorious, is heavily rooted, also with big camaradas. This neighborhood is not to be played with as well. And no, you are not tripping. The pictures that you do see, you're seeing right. I didn't mess up. These are not norteños. Culver City is known for using the the color red. The color red's their color. And like I have said before, people have to understand that this is before La M even started, before there was a red and blue thing. That was just their color, you feel me? Of course, because they go at it with the Crips, said they had to band together to form a neighborhood to defend themselves because African Americans were trying to take advantage, you know what I mean? Mostly being from Cribs. And that's the reason why they chose the color red and to band together to defend themselves, you know what I mean? Because that area was heavily populated by African Americans. And so these immigrant families that come right there, they're trying to pick on their, the raza. So they had to band together to do their thing, you feel me? Making it the notorious neighborhood that you see, nowadays. Now it's called Culver City Boys. It used to be written CCB. You hardly see that nowadays. Just like I said with Venice, it's a term that you hardly see. You mostly now just see it CC13 or CXC13, standing for Culver City. You hardly see the B part added to it nowadays. And this barrio was started in the 1960s. They're located at the Mar Vista projects. So the projects right there in Mar Vista, those are their project. That's home base. That's home territory for the Culver City gang. You feel me? That's their dojo. And what the trip is that this neighborhood has made the news several times. They've been hit with all kinds of acts and motions. The city has been really trying to combat this neighborhood, to slow down the crime rate right there at the Mar Vista project, because it had the highest crime rate in all of Los Angeles County before. In the 70s, it was the area that was known for the most crime and homicides. Trip out on that. That's what I say. This neighborhood is with the business, homie. They are not playing, dog. Those are the facts. You get what I'm saying? And yes, they do use the color red. They're red out from everything. You know what I mean? I got a few homies out of this area, but they are sureños. They are 1-3 to the fullest. You feel me? They heavily put it down right there, homie. These vatos ain't playing, homie. These vatos are definitely with the business. You feel me? And they move as such, you know, right there. Shout out to my homie Casper. That's the boy right there. Firme camarada. And gracias for the info, my boy. And shout out to all the homies from Culver City that be representing right there, holding it down for their barrio and definitely putting their barrio on the map because they still be active as hell. Now, right here, we have one of the largest one. Them in Culver City, I would say, would compete for who's the largest of the two. I would say it's probably a little bit Santa Monica, a little bit more in size and numbers when it comes to the size of the gang. Because this is a large, active, old neighborhood. Now, like I said, now they say that this neighborhood goes back to the 1920s, but then I also heard the 1930s. I heard that Sotel is the oldest, but if they came in the 1920s, that would make them the oldest. But like I said, I heard different stories, so I'm not from those neighborhoods to be right here confirming that, so take that with a grain of salt, you feel me? But roughly putting their time period around the 30s, around the 20s, so you know what I mean? But I heard that Sotel is the oldest, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. But Barrio Santa Monica 13 is a large neighborhood, you know what I mean? Notorious, you know what I mean? They definitely made the news several times. You can find them. It was located right there in the Pico neighborhood. On 17th Street is their home base, home dojo for this barrio. Hence why you see the 17th Street is where they hang out, their location, their main spot. You know what I mean? That's where it all be going down. And now, they share territory right there with the graveyard cribs. You know what I mean? These neighborhoods and the crib neighborhoods are not the best of friends over here. You know what I mean? Tensions, you know, because the neighborhoods do have to share territory. Hence, you know, you're going to get a lot of conflict. You feel me? But the Santa Monica neighborhood is one of these notorious gangs that definitely made the news several times, you know, with all these sweeps and stuff like that. Like I said, they're one of the most largest and old school out of this area. So this barrio is definitely not playing. You feel me? These guys definitely handle their business, and they are with the business. Now, the Santa Monica is large, you know, and made out of several other cliques. 17th Street is probably their largest and the one that's most known. But they do have other several cliques. You have like the Pee Wee Locals, you have the Little Locals, you have the 11th Streets, you have the 21st Streets, and so many more other cliques because they have the largest of territory. I would say that they run, well, from 17th Street all the way to 27th Street. So that's a large chunk of territory. So everything in the middle is what's considered their neighborhood. And that's a large chunk of territory. You feel me? And going at it with all the surrounding neighborhoods over here. Like I said, this is one barrio that's not to be played with, homie. These vatos are heavily rooted in this area. Everyone already knows them right here in Santa Monica. They know that they're not one to be messed with. You know what I mean? Because they do handle their business, you know what I mean? And like I said, they're one of the largest ones out of all these neighborhoods over here. You know, the fact is that, you know, because they're so old school and stuff like that, you feel me? That they're just like enrooted and planted already in this community, you know, because they've been going back since like World War like I and shit. So that's already, we're already talking about a gang of years, generations, you know, with these barrios over here. And yeah, Santa Monica still to this day holding it strong right there, holding it down and definitely going at it and putting their barrio still on the map right there. But that's what's up with the barrio Santa Monica. Shout out to Droopy from Santa Monica. And shout out to all the homies from Santa Monica that definitely be holding it down right there.